Hello everyone, my name is B. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Spurs. Now, I'm sure you've noticed a lot is going on with them just because they're on the verge of getting relegated. They're currently in the relegation zone, and I don't have the table up in front of me, but I'm pretty sure they're about 2 points behind whoever's in 16th place. It's not looking good for them. They started the season with Thomas Frank. I'm pretty sure he came from Brentford. I'm not really too sure. I'm not a Spurs fan, so I'm not well educated on what's been going on. But they did have an interim manager, or I'm not sure if he was interim or permanent. But Tudor, he didn't really last long. Unfortunately, they had to delay the sacking of Tudor, just because unfortunately he had an incident in his personal life. A family member of his, I'm not sure if it was an accident or if they had passed away, but obviously real life comes first. Um, Football's after that, so they had to delay the sacking a little bit, and it wasn't too much for Spurs just because it was during an international break, I believe, and they're already out most of the competitions. They only have to focus on the Premier League now. So what do? They bring in Zerbi, the Brighton manager. That's how I know him. But yeah, obviously great talent. That Brighton team was very good. Kind of like a classic Premier League side where they would put themselves up against the bigger teams and they'd actually hold their weight. Um, but yeah, they played on the weekend and they lose. What was it? 1-0. Now I gotta look this up because I don't want to get the scoreline wrong. But they lose 1-0 to, I believe it's Brentford, right? No, Sunderland. My bad. They lose 1-0 to Sunderland. Yeah, it doesn't look too well. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't watch the game. I'm in North America. I don't have the opportunity to watch these games, or at least I don't wake up early enough. But I was unable to watch the game. I watched the highlights, and from what I saw in the highlights, it looked pretty good on the Zerbi side. Like they're missing a couple of things. Honestly, if the Zerbi goes down with Spurs, apart from a couple players departing, I would say keep him there because he's a good manager. Um, like he did what he could at Brighton. Like you can't expect so much from Brighton, but he fostered a good amount of well developed characters like Neil Maupay, Matoma, I believe Moises Caicedo as well. And I'm not really too sure about De Zerbi if he even worked with Maupay or Caicedo, but uh, what do you want from me? I'm not a Brighton fanatic. They're a good middle of the table Premier League team. Um, yeah, and now he works at Spurs, which should be a top six club, but they're struggling to get out of the relegation zone. Leeds just played Man United and they beat them 2-1. So I guess I will have to look at the table, see how if that changes the standings is all. Um, so yeah, Tottenham 18th, 30 points. Burnley and Wolves are pretty much done for. Like Wolves at 17 points, Burnley's at 20. West Ham is 17th with 32. Nottingham Forest 33 points at 16th, and Leeds at 36. I don't want to see West Ham get relegated. Like who doesn't like a good London club? We all get a kick out of Tottenham if they go down, but the sad reality is the people that are in charge of Tottenham not going down, like the players, are the same people that might benefit from it. And I want you to think about that really long and hard because they have a very good squad. I don't know how they got in this position. Probably the changing of managers or the ownership and the injuries. You got to take into account the injuries. But yeah, the people that are in charge, that is responsible to keep Spurs up in the Premier League, would benefit from Spurs going down because I'm sure you've heard it's probable that big players have some certain type of clause in their contracts where that if a team is not playing certain football or not playing in certain competitions, that they have every right to leave for even a cheaper fee just to make things more smoothly. And with the kind of star quality that they have at Spurs, I wouldn't put it past a couple big names of clubs and specific moves that players have in mind where where it gets to the point where they're not that they're throwing, but they wouldn't be incentivized so much to keep them afloat when a player has in mind another club and he's thinking, "Oh, well, what have I got myself into? This ship is sinking. I have to jump ships." And the best probably move for a player who really has their own interest in mind would be to jump ship. And I don't want to say that's the reality of it, but that could be a factor. Because what if not all of their players are thinking that okay, if Spurs go down, we go down with them and we play with them in the championships. Like that's a scary thought for a club, but it's probably the reality because they have very good players and poor ownership. So it's gonna be very interesting for Spurs. Um, like I said, they played well against Sunderland. It was just kind of, I would say, Sunderland getting on the mistakes of Spurs, which makes sense. They're about 10th place in the league, and Tottenham Hotspur still has to face Brighton, Wolves, Aston Villa, Leeds, Chelsea, and Everton. Yeah, it's not gonna look good. Let me go check. I'm sorry. Let me go check. What is it? West Ham's game? Because even West Ham or um, dang, I'm forgetting their name. West Ham or Nottingham Forest, like any of those could keep them afloat. West Ham have to go against Arsenal, which they could 100% take points away from Arsenal. But they also do have to do Crystal Palace, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Everton, Brentford, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Leeds. Like, yeah, it's gonna be tough for all of the relegation teams. Nottingham Forest. Let's see what matches they have to play. They have to play Man City. They have to play Chelsea. They have to play Sunderland, Burnley, and they're in the Europa League. That's pretty good. And Bournemouth. So it's very much like a possibility that Spurs are able to save themselves, especially with the management of Zerbi and the potential that they have. It's just that can they get their act together quick enough so that they can move on? And hopefully that doesn't seep into the mind of some players that, hey, a big club would 100% pay a cheap fee for me so I could play at a bigger club with a better scenario and get out of this kind of hole that we're in. Hopefully, players don't think like that, and they trust in Zerbi because he's a good manager. And I would say that if they're able to keep everyone intact and Zerbi with them, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't just come back from the championship. And obviously, I don't play in the Premier League or the Championship. I don't know how hard it would be for them to bounce back, but I guess that'll be a topic for another day if that day comes. Hopefully, it doesn't. I don't know, but what do you guys want? What do you guys rather see Spurs get relegated and lose that what the title of Big Six? Like that'd be shattering. They literally just won a European competition. Was it like 1 or 2 seasons ago? Like it's crazy to see them fall like that. But some people really don't like Spurs. It's like I don't know what's with Spurs and Arsenal, London clubs getting hate, but it happens. Do you think they're gonna go down? Do you think they're gonna stay up? Do you think what players would stay if they go down? What players would leave? Um, and do you like Zerbi as a Spurs manager? Me personally, I do. Spurs is kind of I would say, on the same level of Brighton. Obviously, a little bit more quality in the players, and the stadium is probably the best stadium. But yeah, it's very crazy, the Premier League. very random and very much entertaining. So tune in, like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. I do recommend putting on notifications because I will be covering all of the relegation matches, all of the winning matches, and just bringing you news and talks about the sports. But that's all for today. Adios.